Alright everybody, here we are and let's go ahead, get started. I can't join your WhatsApp group. Okay, this came 3 days ago, never mind. And let's simply check whether I'm audible and all, and I will continue the things from here onwards. First of all, the same thing is gonna be happening, and second thing, I will be doing new things. Okay, so I hope I'm audible right now. Okay, so here I am, and the server was running. Let's run the front end section as well, and I hope I'm not gonna be getting the errors as such. Apart from this thing, I'm gonna be maintaining the state as well. So persist, and it will be saving the data in the local storage or session storage, something like this. So this is something that's gonna be happening, and apart from this particular thing, I'm gonna be using 10 stack queries as well. I don't know what is the use of them. How to use them, 10 stack query. So let's even check that thing out. So 10 stack query. Ultimately we get some of the states like hooks from here, and then let's see what happens after that. So we get the queries, query invalidation and all. So query client and new query client. First of all, we'll have to wrap everything. Once everything is wrapped, then use query. It will have the query key. It simply caches the data, something like that. So yeah, it helps data caching here. And use mutation. This mutation will be getting the function, and then on success. So this is mainly used when we are using actions and all, and then we are making the request. So this particular stuff, query, this is something I'm yet to know more about. First of all, and for this particular thing I can go to my notes. It's better, I think this is the right time to simply go through my notes and have a quick look at this particular topic. What happens is that when working with the next JS, so there are two things. First one, server caching, and second one is client caching. So whatever data comes, that simply gets cached, and that is something I have to explore more. So let's go to Udemy. Positesh, not GenAI, rather this one, Next.js. And in Next.js, I'm mainly gonna be talking about database ORM, not really state management and data fetching. And here I had 10 stack queries and a server state management library for React and Next.js. Server state data that lives on the server but is in your React or Next.js app. Benefits, is this spelling right? Not really. Handles data fetching. Provides no refetch every time, manages loading and success states, supports automatic updates and reflects the changes needed, offer retry logic out of the box, fixes cache by query key, automatic retry on network failure, refetch on Windows focus. So ultimately it just caches the data using a query key. So we get use query hooks, use query, use mutation and query client, and query fetching data, fine. And the basic setup, let's even talk about this. So when it comes to, we need to use the query client somewhere here, and we need to wrap everything, all the children, with that query client. Once that is actually wrapped, then we can go ahead, as simple as that. So this is one of the first steps, and after that, once everything is wrapped, even I'm creating a new provider here just for that, mainly because it is gonna be using it needs to be different, and that is why I'm doing that. And then I will have just query provider over here, and then I will have use query. And when it comes to this use query, so this is this mosquito is going to be killed by me. Okay, so user route.ts. So in this particular section I have this much data. Await new promise, resolves a timeout with this. Okay, the most important thing actually starts from here. So what am I actually doing? I'm using use query over here, and this use query simply has this users key, and it has a function called fetch users, and this function is gonna be used there. And this function will mainly come from the Next.js actions. I will be getting my data, is loading, is error, and all this stuff. So So the data, whatever data I return from there, how the data is going to be there, data is loading, whether it's actually being loaded or not, and after that is there any error, and these are the things that I'm supposed to be getting. Okay, this is how it just simply goes. And when it comes to use mutation, so in that case it's taking time, but mainly mutation related stuff happens here. So use mutation simply gives me mutation add user. This is gonna be coming from add user. This is just a normal function that I have, add user, and it returns what? It returns response.json. So whatever data I get from the backend side, fetch method, all these things, I'm just simply returning that. And once it is actually returned, after that I'm just simply invalidating all the things. Invalidating in the sense a new data should be returned, set name and email, everything is done like this. Okay, so just above, what did I do? So this is where I use the fetch users, and fetch user is nothing but a function that gets the data, and as soon as it gets the data, it will be returning the main data that will contain everything, and apart from this particular thing, it will be having the other stuff. Okay, that's fine. So this is how things work. And then I have hydration and caching related stuff. So caching, saving a copy of the page to the server faster later, saving a copy of the page to the server. Not server, to serve faster later. So it's actually gonna be like this. So let's remove this R from here. So saving a copy of the page to serve faster later. When do we need caching? Blog post, products, homepage, about page. In this particular case, we need to have a caching related stuff, post, products, homepage. Okay. When we don't need a shopping cart, user dashboard, and live stock prices. Data fetches are uncached by default in Next.js 15. So they are not cached, rather they are uncached, but the framework still has multiple caching layers that you can opt into when you need them. Ultimately, this is what happens. Hydration, when static HTML pages comes live, becomes interactive. So what is hydration? When a static HTML page comes alive and becomes interactive, that is called hydration. So when your HTML page isn't interactive, that is called dehydrated. When it comes alive and becomes interactive, hydrated, thus the process is called hydration. Why? So that whenever a user visits your website, he or they should be able to, a user, so he should be able to see the content really quickly instead of seeing the blank screen. That's kind of makes sense. Process server, since HTML, this is just gonna be normal process. Static page, you can see it, but you can't interact with this. That's right. JavaScript gets downloaded, interaction code arrives. Browser prepares to make changes, make the page interactive using JavaScript. Page becomes interactive, hydrated. So it's simple. Types of caching: page caching, API data. So I can cache the page, I can cache the API data, I can cache the database, and I can have no caching here. And this is ultimately the application that I actually created. So inside the actions, I had my function create to do, and when it comes to this, so first of all, connected to the database. Okay, this is fine, database connection. And the most important thing is the return result that I return from here. So success to message to do created successfully, and I'm sending a to do from here. First of all, I'm parsing it and then stringifying it and then parsing it, and the main reason could be what? Can't I return a React to do directly? This is something I need to know more. Exactly why am I doing it, and what is the real reason behind it? And most of the things are already done. I can come to do store, use to do store, DevTools. This is where I actually use what? This is called Stand, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I am using Stand. And when using Stand over here, so I have some of the methods. They are just simply doing their job, so that is also fine. And then I have hooks, use to do. From these hooks, I'm actually returning user create to do, use create to do, and then I will have some other hooks. And what exactly happens in them? Use query client whenever I'm creating them. Use to do store, so I will be getting add to do. This is just a method. and then I'm doing two things over here. This can be successful for sure, and the important step is here. So to do, I'm getting once I've got that this mutation function, this is actually going to be used on the front end side. So I have this mutation function, and once I have this, then this will be getting to do, and once it gets to do, whenever I'm gonna be calling this mutation function, at that time it will automatically get the to do here, and once it gets the to do, and then create to do result, and I'm just simply gonna be returning the result. So this is kind of like that, but until unless I use this, it's not really gonna make any sense. Similarly, when it comes to this, so I have this function const result, checking the value of the result and just simply returning the result. So this is something I have to know more about. Okay, let's do it. I mean, instead of just keep worrying about it, it's better to just simply see it in action. Then it will start making more sense. Whew. And once it is there, then I have to make sure that I'm managing the states as well. What's the best way to just simply use this? Mainly, when do we use query providers? When to use React 10-stack React query, 10-stack React query. You should use 10 int model JavaScript TypeScript application state. Okay, when managing server state, which is data asynchronous, shared, potentially stale and persisted remotely. Okay, it simply gives you whether the kind of request you send, that is loading or not. So it just simply gets this particular part done. So simply send a request, and when that request is in the middle of the state, it just simply provides you the status. Okay, let's click on quick start, and then clicking on this, and whenever I'm making any request over here, suppose this is the mutation function, and when it comes to this, it has post to do, and whenever I'm just simply calling this mutation, so where am I calling this mutation function? To do query client, use query client, that's fine. And as soon as I have this, I got my query is gonna be use query, and this is the information it has, and then mutation is has this much. And when it comes to adding it, sort mutate. Mutation, something that I'm returning from here, so wherever I'm calling this particular function, dot mutate, and the data I'm providing, that data will automatically be provided inside post to do. And when it comes to this post to do, I don't really have it here, but yeah, this is how it goes. DevTools. Okay. So I can have my DevTools here, npm 10-stack React query DevTools, and the next thing can actually be React query DevTools can actually be imported, and as soon as I have them imported, React query DevTools initial is open by false, so I can have them now. So ultimately this manages the state and all, and nothing else. So if you are making an application, you need to manage lots of state, and this 10-stack query will just do that job on behalf of you. And doesn't matter where you want to use, it can directly be used, and that is kind of right. So what am I gonna be doing right here? I have my app. Inside my app, I have my register, and of course I have this particular action being used over here. Though this is not necessary, but I have it, so be it. Similarly, I have this page.tsx, and the important thing actually starts here. So save the states in the save the data in the state. First of all, this thing that I have to do. Not only that, I'm gonna be using something called React query this time. That means it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's better to use as many things as possible, and so that you actually know about all those things. That's whether that is even needed in your project or not. Especially when you are learning, you should directly use that. So I have installed 10 stack query, and after that when it comes to using that, so I can go to quick start, and these are the things that I actually need. First of all, I have to wrap everything. For wrapping, I need my query client that will be coming like this. Once I have my query client, then a query client provider, and that's it. So let's do one thing, query provider. This is the hook that this is I think this is the hook, not the hook. What can I name it? This is the provider that I'm gonna be creating. And when it comes to the provider, so in that case, inside front end or somewhere else. Let me see what exactly I named it earlier in one of the projects that I had. So in this particular case, I can come back here, and the name was maybe providers only. So let's create a folder called provider. Inside this providers, it will contain all the providers that I actually create. And when it comes to this, I will be having Redux provider too inside this. So this is gonna be a better option. So this is the provider. Okay, that's fine. I mean, inside providers it should be, so I can say what, Redux provider, Redux provider. This is how it's gonna be. Yeah, just do it always, and I'm actually gonna be keeping it inside providers. This is how it's gonna be going on, and inside these providers I will be creating one more provider that's gonna be query provider.tsx, just this way, and gonna be copying most of the things from here. Well, they are not quite required, but why not? Get rid of all this, and this provider should be query client provider. I'm not quite getting the option to just have, import it here. That's fine, but I just hope this is how it goes. And when it comes to this, so it is actually gonna be something like that, and in between, of course, I will have my children. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And when it comes to this, so I can come back here. First of all, I will be getting query client provider from where? Query client provider from @10stack React query. So import query client. Let's do one thing. It's gonna be something like this, from @10stack React query. What will I be getting? I will be getting query client provider. This is the one. Once I have it here, that's it. The another thing that I actually need to have, that becomes the query client. So make query client. Let's simply add this here directly. So as for that particular query client, I can come back here. I can simply import that here too. It's gonna be the right option. Query client is actually gonna be at the top. That's fine. So as for this query client, I'm gonna be importing it from here as well. It's actually gonna be like this. So query is actually gonna be query client. How about this? Client is actually, sorry, that should be client. So let's make it a client. Is actually gonna be query client. And so far I've done this much. I'm gonna be creating my queries. Queries is mainly for getting the data, and mutation is for just doing the mutation work related stuff, adding the data and all. That's fine. What am I doing over here? First of all, this thing is done, and React knows it's not imported, so let's simply import this as well. So I have this Redux provider. Is this gonna be a Redux provider? Not really. This is gonna be query provider, just like this. Once I hope the naming convention is right. Query provider, I named it earlier too, so that's fine. So this is the query provider that I have created, and this query provider will be wrapping this as well. So I have Redux provider, and query provider does what? Manages the stuff related to queries. So I will have my query provider over here, just like this, and I'm gonna be having the remaining things inside that. So tooltip, query provider, redux provider, this is how the things are actually going on. And once I have this thing done, after that close this. Once I have this particular thing over here, query provider, then I can go to this page.tsx over here, and just inside this I'm gonna actually create a hook so that it actually manages the things the right way. And for creating the hook, okay, this is the hook section that I have only one hook right now. What could be the name of that hook? Just gonna be taking the help of my notes a bit. Use to do, and over here I'm working with the user, right? In that case, use user.ts. This is gonna be the name. Or forget about the user, let's keep it auth, because all this stuff is going to be related to auth. So use auth.ts. This is how it's gonna be going on. And just here I'm gonna be exporting a hook const use what will I be doing? Register user, just like this. And this is gonna be something. How do we create it? And how did I create it earlier? So when it came to this, so whenever I created one of the things, so then it just simply imported everything and it got everything done just right here. So let's do the same. So I'm actually gonna be creating a function, kind of a hook. So normally inside hooks we manage the state, but over here we don't need to manage it because that's directly gonna be provided. Okay, so once this much is done, use register user. And what will I be doing inside this? First of all, when it comes to registering the user, I need a mutation, right? And for getting the mutation, what will I be doing? Not here actually, I had better come here. So const mutation, and this use mutation, wherever I'm gonna be calling this particular mutation, wait, I mean, let's write the things as well. I mean, it's better. It's been quite a long time, so that simply means I have to have a look at many things. So ultimately I will have my mutation, and when it comes to that mutation, I will be returning the whole things from here, and remaining things are gonna be done like this. Interesting stuff. So let's go with this documentation way. This time I'm gonna be creating the mutation, and once I created that, then I will be doing something. So this is where I'm just simply creating the mutation, and this use mutation is gonna be coming from @stack. Where does this come from? It is coming from React query. Once I have this, as for this thing, post to do, this is actually gonna be a register user. This is not. Inside the action, what do I have? This is the action that I have. It turns out things are upside down. I'm having the hooks over like use auth over here, and the remaining things are here. That's crazy. Let's delete it from here, or I'm just simply gonna be cutting everything. Rather, instead of keeping all the hooks at the same place, I can just keep them inside this as well, inside register itself. So I can say I have my action over here. Along with the action, I will be creating the hook. Okay, I mean, it's not the worst idea to Control Z. Can't really go back. For right now, I'm just simply gonna be going with this. Later, I may be making changes into this one. And when it comes to this particular action, so from here, I'm just simply returning the register. So register user @app auth. I think from here I'm getting that. And as for this query client, I will be getting it from this. So I have my query client will be coming from there. Where does the query client come from? So this query client it's in small letter. That means the query client that I actually need, that is this one. So wherever I'm using this, so query client is gonna be used query client. Let's simply use this inside this. So I think somewhere in here, not really this thing, I can come back here. It should be inside this to do application only. So let's do it. Const query client is gonna be used query client. So just in here, const query client is actually gonna be used query client, just like this. Once I have this use query client, I can just simply use this query client to invalidate the cached data. And as for the query key, that's actually gonna be over here auth. At least for now it's gonna be like that. In invalidate and refetch, this is invalidate in the sense there are two things. First of all, this will be invalidating the data saved or cached on the client side, and then it will be refetching the data. And as for this register user, I'm already using that. As for this mutation, I'm actually gonna be returning from here. So let's simply click on return this particular mutation. So I will be getting this mutation over there, and then I can simply use this. So things should be fine. I have this user register. I'm even using this mutation over here. It just simply gets this register user, and as soon as it gets that, it will just do something or the other. Like it will just run this, and when it runs this, so at that time response.data gets returned from here. Otherwise this particular message gets returned. And if it succeeds, in that case I'm just invalidating everything. Not only that, I will be getting my data here. So let's even check that. For checking that, I will actually have to just go with many things here, and that's not gonna be the best way. So I will be going through my notes. So whenever I'm using this, I'm gonna be getting my to do, and this particular function is gonna be getting the to do. That's fine. And I already have this function. I already have this register function, and it simply gets the data. That does make sense. And apart from this particular thing, whenever it succeeds, so I will be getting my result. And when I get my result, so result dot to do, result dot what, from here I'm actually returning my data. So result dot data should make sense. Let's even check what exactly will be there inside result. So on success, I will actually get my result, and as soon as I get my result, clg result use register user. Let's see what we are gonna be getting here. And as for this result, I'm just simply gonna be logging the value here, and this should definitely be fine. And as soon as I get the result, what do I have to do next? First of all, I got the result. That's really a good thing. Once I got the result, I have to do two things over here. Save, it in the states, and that's it, nothing else. I'm mainly gonna be saving it, so I'd better just simply go with this. So as soon as I got the result, I will be getting the ID as well if I'm just simply sending the ID. So just after that, I can have the data. That's fine. And this use query, this is the use mutation. I'm getting my result over here, and just simply adding it, changing the state. This is actually gonna be a to do. Okay, so this is how I've been just simply going so far. I know making it more complex, but this needs to be done. I needed to just simply go through all the technologies that I learned, and at least because of this project, I'm actually getting the chance of using all of them. So why not? So update the state, and over here state is actually gonna be updating, and for updating the state, I will be using Redux. But before that, let's check out the result. So whenever I just make a request, then what happens? So coming back to the main localhost, reload the page. It's not quite running if I'm not wrong. npm rundev. So this is how it's gonna be going on. I can come back here, reload the page. Of course I'm gonna register this time, and when registering, let's make it anything. As for the password, PAWSWORD1234 and PAWSWORD1234. The thing is that I should be getting the response here. I'm using yeah, it should be done. Let's click on submit and see what happens at the end. User registered successfully, and well, I'm not getting anything. Even if the user registered successfully, this particular message is not getting triggered, and that's insane. Why is that so? I'm trying to register over here, and whatever, I think I'm not using this user register. That's obvious, makes sense. I can come back to this page.tsx. Inside this page.tsx, what am I doing? I'm using register user directly. That is something I don't have to do now, at least. What will I be doing? In that case, result await register user. Let's simply remove this, and gonna be crazy, I know. Const what should be the name of the result? Like, I will be naming it something, and I will be using user register user hook. This is the hook that I created, and of course I think this needs to be awaited. Does it need to be awaited? Not really. It needs to be just like this, and as for this, it will be just simply getting the data. Once it gets the data, it's gonna be fine, and I'm gonna be naming it something, naming it in the sense register user mutate, just like this. As for this data, what is the problem here? Use register. It actually returns the mutation. That's right, it does return that. And when the mutation is actually returned, that simply means I will be getting that mutation here. So this is kind of a wrong way to write this things. In that case, I can come back here. I can just simply get rid of this. So register user mutate I've got, and whenever I call register user mutate, then the job will be done. Let me have a look at my notes as well. So on the client side, of course, I'm returning the mutation from here, and as soon as I'm returning that from here, after that inside form.tsx, use create to do, I got a mutation create to do, and then I can just simply call mutation if I need. So in that case, mutation create to do, mutate async, I'm gonna be using asynchronous way, and at that time I'm gonna be giving it my data, and completed is actually gonna be first. Ultimately, whatever data I need to just give it, I can just simply give it. Okay, that's fine. So let's name it better, mutation. I hope that's the name, or that's the right way. Yeah. Mutation register user. Again, naming convention is up to you. Whichever way you want to name it, you can name it. So I've got my mutation register user. As soon as I got that, and where should I keep it? Should I keep it inside submit? Not really. It should definitely be kept outside, otherwise it's gonna be giving me error. So this should be kept somewhere here at the top. That is something quite okay. Const mutation register user, and it will be from user register user. So this is the hook. From this particular hook, I'm getting a mutation register user. As soon as I got that, so over here, what will I be doing? It will definitely be returning the result as well. I will be giving this result out. So over here, what kind of result am I gonna be getting? I'm gonna be as for this particular result, so there's like whatever data you send, the same kind of data you get over here. So I will be getting success, and that's it, nothing else. Result.success, result.message. So ultimately same kind of data I will be getting. That is yet to be seen. What I can actually do, result is gonna be mutation register user, and when it comes to this register mutation register user, I have to just give it the data. So giving it the data in the sense the data that I have, I'm just simply gonna be passing that, and I of course need to await it. And this way, what is this? The expression is not callable. Mutation register user. They are simply saying this expression is not callable. Yeah, that's right. Sorry for that. Dot mutate async. I'm gonna be just asynchronously mutating it, and I'm gonna be giving it the data. Now this is fine. I got my result. CLG result from on submit side, and let's exactly check what kind of result am I gonna be getting here. So this is one of the results I have, and then especially when it comes to the result, so I can come back here, and the result that I actually got after mutating, I'm not even worrying about the result here, that's fine. Then where am I worrying about it? I need to check that thing. Mutations. Okay, so it is actually like this. So I got my mutation, and once I have my mutation, after that this mutation has the function itself, and mutation is pending. So with the mutation I get a mutation pending, mutation is success, is error, all these things I get, and mutation dot mutate. So ultimately that mutation has these values. Alrighty, let me get this thing done. इतना कर लेता हूँ, फिर अभी चलता हूँ. तो I got my result mutation register mutate async. So result is equivalent to what? Forget about this result equivalent. Of course I will be checking the value of this result over here, and mutation register user, this mainly contains that particular register. So over here I will be getting the good stuff that should be used. So once I have this particular mutations and mutation dot mutate, this is something that's happening, and then even I'm getting some data over here, and that data can be used directly over as per the need. Okay, so far this much is even fine, and let's check this thing out exactly how it's gonna be used.